capacitor, capacitor. I have to dig in each one of these components now and see what's going on with them. So I'm going to attend to that, but not on camera. Okay, so I've been studying this and thinking about it for a while. And I think I'm going to go back to that sort of integrated circuit packet or package that's in there. It probably comprises this capacitor, this and this. Oh, that's right, they're listed right here. I don't have to guess. So it's 10, 11, 12, and 13. Well, 13 is there, 12, 10, and 11. So it's these. So, and actually the wiring is quite simple, but access is really tough in there. But if one of them is just not passing any signal, excuse me, like perhaps this one, well, I can just take another capacitor, wire in myself from pin 7 to pin 1, and bypass the bad one that's inside that thing. So this is probably what I got to do. This makes an awful lot of sense now. So what I really need to figure out is how far does the signal get. So I need to trace it very carefully through. So I'm going to put the radio on. I'm going to feed in a regular radio signal, get something coming out of the IF here. I'm not going to worry too much about how. Well, you know what I can put through? I can put through the a modulated 460. I can tune this coil again because I haven't touched it actually, have I? No, I haven't actually touched this. Get it going. Okay, Jim, get it going. Get some test stuff on there. We're in business. Okay, so getting, I don't have to turn the camera off here, because getting it going amounts to this. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, everybody, whoa, whoa. Okay, we don't want that on there anymore. Now, I don't think we want that connection on there either. Start from scratch here. Signal tracer, so radio on. .460. Signal tracer output. Antenna. We can do antenna and chassis, I think. Let's try that. Why we don't hear the modulation again, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Okay. Signal tracer. It's up here already. And ground. See how scared I am? That's a good way to be. It's going to jump off. Okay. So we're hoping to hear First, we'll try to hear the tone that's coming out of here. So we'll go for pin 5, and that would be at 460 RF. So I'm just setting my machine over here. There we go. Volume down. Sounds pretty good. Not well, lots of signals seem to be there. Now, I mean, I do have an amplifier in my signal tracer set to some who knows what. So, but it gives you an idea. Pretty strong signal at that point. Now, we go up to the top of the volume control. Not yet, not yet. We're still in RF mode. Still listening to the 456 through the signal tracer, which is a radio. This is the radio's antenna right now. It's sort of like my SDR, only not really. If this is all contained, what's contained like this, we can't really know. We can't really know what we're doing. There's some wires sticking out. I can get at them, but so let's see. A good test. I'm trying to figure out where to test next. Really, I gotta go on the volume control. It should be there. So there's still enough RF, and the RF hasn't been knocked out at all at this point. Unless it's being yanked through this capacitor, shoved into, yeah, this capacitor is probably killing most of the RF at this point. So RF ground is way up here, actually. Doing a very good job here, Jim. Here, then it should be on the volume control. That's good. Okay, and if it's on the volume control, say it goes through one of those capacitors, then it should be on the grid, pin 1 of the 12AT6. Pin 1 is what we got to listen to next. It is. Pin 1. Pin 1 is the very same as the slider, but on the other side. Oh, excellent. Okay, slider. Pin 1 should sound exactly like that. Somewhere in there is pin 1. Smokes. Yep, there it is. That's enough. Okay, so we got pin 1. We've made it. Sorry for the line. We've made it to here. So we should just look for it here now. Pin 7. Now, pin 7 is really only supposed to be the audio part of the signal. So why don't we go back, we'll do this, we'll do the same thing, only we'll just listen for audio. Okay, let's do that. Change the setting on my machine here. Okay, volume control. Okay, that's the audio. Now this is a little confusing. That sounds just like it did before when my tracer was being used as a radio. Because, you know, radio turns stuff into audio. So, but before it was the radio signal. Now that's audio. So we'll go here. From there we go to the grid. 1. Risky shot at the grid here. Man alive. Okay. Now, go ahead for the plate on pin 7. Turn down my volume here. Pin 7. Wrong tube. Pin 7. Here we are. Okay, that was. Hey, which speaker did that come out of? I could have sworn it came out of here. Let's just take a break, Peter. Take a break. Let's try that again. Pin 7. Now it heads back through one of those capacitors on its way to pin 1 on the 50B5, pin 1. This is a little easier right here. It's kind of weird because I heard something come out of here again. But we didn't hear what we would expect. Because pin 1 So we heard it here. We should have heard it almost the same here. Try it again. Be absolutely quadruply sure. And this is the plate. That came out of the speaker again. But nothing came out of my tracer. Tracer volume's low. You know, I just think that really, again, just is just because of weird things happening with these capacitors. That's weird. That's definitely quite weird. So I've touched here, and that effect. Come on. I've touched here, and that effect happened, and I've touched here, and that same effect happened. Between them is that capacitor. This side, with this big resistor, you can have a charge build up, and when I touch it with this probe, it would bleed off the charge. You know, changing the potential of this. Why would just be loud for a moment and then stop? I don't know. Over here it's a little harder to see how touching it with this probe. This is a super high impedance probe here. How? I don't know. Okay, so I think the name of the game is get a .005 capacitor and tie it from pin 7, pin 1, and see if this makes the radio work. Okay, here we go with attempt number 2. Put in the extra capacitor. It's kind of back in there, not quite as close to the power line. Not that ever mattered yet. Anyway, I think we're ready to try it. I've got this equipment hooked up. What's going on here? Okay, we're going to take off this. Take off this on the basis that this radio is going to work, and I can take this off. Okay. Ready for power on. Okay. Oh, it was already turned up. How can this be? Okay, first piece back, signal tracer. Audio on the capacitor I just installed. It's supposed to be on pin 7 where we can hear it. Huh. Hey, it's coming out of the radio again. Sounds like that bleed down of a voltage. Oh yeah, for sure. If some of these capacitors are leaking, that takes me kind of back to this one. So I got the bridge in here, but maybe it's not helping. I probably have the bridge in fine. The problem could be back to this one. Pin 1. Wait a second here. Yeah, pin 7. Okay, sorry. Yeah, if I could hear it on pin 1, fine. Well, I can hear it on pin 7, fine. What in God's name is going on? Wait a minute. No, you can't hear it on 7, fine. Hear it briefly. Well, the capacitor isn't necessarily good or bad. I mean, it could be turned into a resistor. If that's the case, I have to cut them away. They're not shorted. I didn't look for 50 ohms. So if I touch it on the volume control, we just hear what we expect to hear. If I touch it over here, though, we get that sound coming out of there. Measure the voltage of this grid relative to basically the cathode. Pin 1, pin 2. Pin 1's hard enough to get at. Pin 2 is really impossible. Pin 2 is kind of not really, but sort of the same as this. It is pin 2. Pin 2, yeah, okay, right. I have been in here too long, haven't I? Okay, so pin 2 is just right to the ground also. So we'll put the meter on the ground. That'll allow us to read. grid relative to cathode. I'm going to listen to what happens when I do it. Pin 1. Pin 1. Pin 1 is even harder to get at now that I put that capacitor in there. It's up here somewhere. That's it. -1 volt. I did this before. I don't hear any shushing. Why, no shushing there. Signal tracer. -1's appropriate. -1 volt. Leaky capacitor theory not working out so well. The volume up full, this is connected directly to here. We get the maximum negative impact. Didn't happen. Pin 7. I touch pin 7. Comes out of there. So it's so what am I doing? I'm touching the plate here. Touching the plate here. Wow. This resistor's gone way high. I don't know. I think that would do it. What would that do? You could. Yeah, if there was no current flow through the tube, you would get full voltage sitting up here, even with a big resistor there. It's pretty big to begin with. If it was open, you'd have no B+. But B+ is there. Wow. Hear it at 1. Hear it at 7. I don't actually hear it at 7. Don't hear it in the signal tracer when I touch 7. Except for a moment it comes out of this speaker. What if I read 7 with a voltmeter? Hey, look at the voltage. something here? Pin 7 and the voltage was minus what? Voltmeters. You should be finding pretty good voltage there, I would think. Maybe this is open. Maybe I missed this first time around. I thought I checked the voltage on it. Did I say skip the 12 AT6? It's too tough. Did I say that? This is 7. Or is it? And that's a lead I soldered onto pin 7, or did I manage to solder it? That is 7. That is this. Zero volts. Let me find another B plus to check. Pin 5 on the 50B5. Pin 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 121. Let me check one down here. 12 BA6 5. Pin 5, 12 BA6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 72. Go back and do this one again. Pin number 7. I'm not fooled here. Pin 7. So basically, when I touch pin 7, I'm touching now, because I've installed a capacitor, I'm touching the grid of the... So there's no voltage there. So that implies an open 270. Open R5. Right there. I have to find that R5. 270. Oh my gosh. I have to go deal with some dinner. Okay, so I'm suspicious this resistor is open, and that's why there's no B plus, obviously. So I found this resistor. Oh my gosh, where was it? Oh, let me show you where it was. So I have to find where's the camera. Okay, so down under this capacitor is the package. Down there. The Herlick. Well, down under the Herlick is the resistor. See it there, just kind of peeking out. Red, violet, and a yellow. So I traced one lead fairly easily. I can do it again here, I think. Let's see, I gotta look down and spot the resistor. Oh, way off. No, I may not be able to do this. But I was able to track, after spotting the resistor, I was then able to deduce that I can test from pin 6 of this tube to pin 7 of that tube. And I should read right through this resistor and see the 270. Got my ohm meter on 2 megohms. One lead connected to pin 6 already of the output tube. Yep, pin 6. So I got one lead connected there. I'm double checking everything, that's why I'm kind of painstaking how I'm doing this. And so that's the pin 7 of the 12AT6, and that's right here. And there's what you get. Doesn't get much more open than that. Let me check and just make sure the meter's working. Yeah. Open resistor. Little tiny resistor buried way under there. Open. So I'm going to put a new one in. I'm just going to bridge over and pick up here. I'm still wondering. I just don't get it. How can there not be a connection to pin 1? And I could see it. I looked at it. It didn't look like anybody removed anything ever. I don't understand. But in any case, I've got my new capacitor there already. So I'll get the proper resistor and I'll stick it in there. Okay, we've reached the point ready for another test. I've installed the resistor. I've left the capacitor in place that connects to the grid of the output tube. Who knows? Volume down. Okay, dim bulbs for sure. Yes. Okay, everything looks pretty normal. Well, a little more to do, but at least it's making some sound now. Good. Good. Okay, let's see how an alignment's going to go on this radio now. I've got it hooked up to my signal generator there. I put a jumper on to kill the local oscillator, so I just put a jumper basically across the tuning capacitor. We're tuned to 460, that's the IF frequency. We're on the meter there. The signal we're putting in is a fairly strong one, but we're doing the IF. Well, that's okay. It's okay. We'll turn it down when we can. Here we go. first IF transformer. This is all pretty close. Okay. Now we'll go up to where 1500 should be. It's roughly where it's tuned now. Oh, I've still got this on. Okay, I gotta take off the... Okay, I'll tune the signal generator. There we are. The meter. Oops. There's a bigger screwdriver for that. Okay, go down to the other end of the band. Oh. $640. It's probably 590 there. Yeah, it's a lot of noise with it, but that's actually not too bad. That's really not too bad. Now, it's got some registration marks here. I don't know what they mean exactly. First one could mean that's the limit of the... Yep. So the pointer's stopping right at the first registration mark. And this mark here will be one for doing alignment work, but I don't know what frequency that would be. The only way to know is to put the radio back in its cabinet and take a look at the front. Okay, here it is all freshened up and looking pretty good actually. I'm surprised at how good it came out. So let's give it a go here. It's off. Here we go.
John. Everything is at the rim. Able to beat them off all night. I'll take that.
For the Rockets, it's Tucker, Capella, Gordon, Harden, and... social media open when I'm at work because it's hard to focus on what.
Well, not bad, not too bad, not perfect, but not too bad. But there's some kind of oscillation when there's no station to be picked up, and I guess that's when the radio sensitivity comes way up because the AVC relaxes, and in the high sensitivity situation, there's some kind of weird buzzy oscillation shows up. But you know, as soon as the signal shows up, that's knocked away, that dies away. So I don't think that's that bad. I think it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty worn out, really. Hey, that's great. Thanks a lot for watching, and hey, I wonder what's going to be next.